Hello students, this is part 2 of the poem After Blenheim by Robert Southey. The poem which we are reading now is actually a scathing commentary on man's cruelty to man. You can write down the spelling of scathing, S-C-A-T-H-I-N-G. Scathing commentary on man's cruelty to man. So, in our previous video, we learned that the poem starts with the queries of two little kids about a skull. And who were those kids? Wilhelmine and Peterkin. When Peterkin brought a skull to his grandfather to know more about the thing, the kids were surprised and curious when they approached their grandfather and asked him about it. Grandfather Caspar told them about a war that had been fought years ago. He described the horrors of the war. But every time he mentioned that the war was a famous victory. The war was a great victory. Now, let's continue from this stanza. My father lived at Blenheim then. So, this stanza, in the very first line of this stanza, you can understand that Caspar recollects from the past some scenarios of war from his personal experience. Yon little stream hard by, underline yon, beyond or near little stream, hard by, very near, they burned his dwelling to the ground. His dwelling means Caspar's father's dwelling to the ground, and he was forced to fly. Caspar's father was forced to fly or run away, so with his wife and child he fled, nor had he where to rest his head. Now, you can write down this stanza, the explanation or the meaning of this stanza, while explaining or while giving informations about the great victory to his grandchildren. Caspar recollected from the past memories some of his personal experience. Caspar's father lived at Blenheim when the war broke out. So, and his father was forced to flee with his wife and child to go somewhere, and his house was burned into ashes. But he had no place here. He, his, everything, his dwelling, all these adjectives, his dwelling, this is his adjective, are used for, all these words are used for Caspar's father, and he had no place to shelter. Rest his head means to take shelter. So from this stanza, what tragic incident or what tragic aspect of war is being hinted or suggested in this particular stanza? From the description given by old Caspar, we can understand that the battles or the wars bring only destruction and devastation. With fire and sword, the country round was wasted far and wide, and many a childing mother then and newborn baby died. But things like that, must be at every famous victory. Students, before I explain this stanza, let's continue the stanza here. They say it was a shocking sight after the field was won. Underline field means battle. For many thousand bodies here lay rotting in the sun. But things like that, must be after a famous victory. These two lines you can see here, but things like that, must be after a famous victory, are repeated. Before explaining the stanzas, I want to explain these last two lines of both stanzas which are repeated. These lines suggest that common man, like a common man, he feels, old Caspar is aware that death and destruction are only natural if a war leads to a victory regarded as a famous one. So in a word we can conclude that old Caspar accepts them as natural things instead of criticizing war for causing them. So like common people, they never tried, the common citizens, they never tried to stop or to criticize the devastating or the destructive nature of the war, but they have taken the death of thousands of innocent people as a natural thing. They have accepted the devastation and the death and killing of the innocent people as a part of the famous victory, as a part of any devastation. Because now from these lines we can understand that these lines emphasize the ignorance of the common man about the purpose of the war. From these lines we also learn that the common people are only have the knowledge of the war, that the war was won by the country and the victory at the cost of the lives of innocent people. Now, students, see the use of fire and sword. So what does the use of fire and sword suggest here? Fire and sword suggest the destruction, the horror. These are the symbols of man's cruelty for man. Already I have told this line, man's cruelty for man was wasted far and wide, means destructions and devastations are caused because of these wars and battles. Students, you can write the explanations or meaning of both the stanzas. Write down. Fire and sword suggest the destruction, horror and ruin brought about by the war. Houses were ruined, a lot of people died. Death, blood and misery, a sorrowful condition of a happy place. The country was ruined by the forces. Full stop. People deserted or vacant their homes and were forced to wander about trying to find safe shelters. The impact of war was so disastrous that many civilians, including innocent women and children, lost their lives. After the war, thousands of corpses, or you can say thousands of dead bodies, were lying everywhere. The last two lines suggest that, like a common man, Caspar also feels that death and destruction are only natural things which leads to a victory regarded as a famous one. Great praise the Duke of Melbourne won, and our good Prince Eugenie. Why it was a very wicked thing, said little Wilhelmine. Nay, nay, my little girl, quoth he, it was a famous victory. So, through the innocence of both the children, the poet expressed the devastation, destruction and condemnation of war. But old Caspar was not ready to accept any other opinion or view, or to change his view, or to know why the battle was fought. He was only of the same opinion that the war was a famous victory. You can see in this stanza that when old Caspar was discussing or telling them about the destruction and death that followed the war, Wilhelmine was convinced that it was something bad. You can see it was very wicked thing, means very bad. So she reacted by saying that it was a very wicked thing when her grandfather praised the Duke and the Prince for the famous victory. And everybody praised the Duke who this great fight did win. But what good came of it at last, quoth little Peterkin. Why? That I cannot tell, said he, but it was a famous victory. So, from these stanzas, students, the poet is also unable to point out any benefit from the famous victory. What is own when everything is lost? So, the innocent children became the mouthpiece of the poet who expresses his disapproval of war. The children were unable to grasp their achievements from a human point of view. So, but somewhere you can see that old Caspar was also in doubts and in his dilemma, but he lacked the spirit to reject because he had no points, no proper knowledge about the reasons the war was led. He only knew that it was a famous victory. So, the repetition of the old man's words, the famous victory, great victory, builds up irony because poet has, in a sarcastic way, he has used the words a famous victory. So, the moral of the poem is that there is no real reason for destructive war among human beings and nations that should learn to get along. So through this poem, actually the poet is trying to convey the message that wars only bring death and destruction. Nothing good can be achieved from killing and murdering the innocent people or taking the lives of the innocent people, because already we know that from war nothing is won, everything is lost. Even you have read the chapter Chief Seattle, you have read Old Man at the Bridge. Everywhere you can see that wars only bring death and destruction. And we have even in Chief Seattle's words, what you have studied in your prose section, that we have many things to lose but nothing to gain. So students, wars bring only death and destruction. So students, I hope that the poem is clear to you. Please go through the poem properly, read it thoroughly, and you have the workbook with you. Try to solve those question answers of your own. Thank you.